this weekend we get our sixth, yeah, that's right, sixth entry into the Insidious franchise. I saw it last night. It's called Out of the Further. Here's my review. Before I dive in, if you would subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell. Use that comment section wisely. What are your opinions on Insidious Out of the Further if you've seen it? If you have not seen it, are you excited for it? Is this one of your franchises that you like or don't like? I want to know all that and more in the comment section. I enjoy the Insidious franchise more than a lot of people, if we're being honest. Like, I don't love it, but I think the first Insidious, I would consider it one of my favorite horror movies just because of how formative it was for me growing up to be like, oh, Insidious is a PG-13 horror movie that's actually scary. And then Insidious 2, I think I'm one of the only people that think it's almost just as good as the first movie. And then Insidious 3 I thought was solid. I haven't seen The Last Key. I'm going to be watching that real soon for the ranking. And then The Red Door sucked. Insidious Red Door was my least favorite movie of that year. It was a steaming pile of garbage. So going into this one, I thought to myself, is it going to be 6 movies too much in the Insidious franchise? Is it going to be good? Just as good as that first or even second movie captured? Or is it just going to be another generic horror movie? I really liked Insidious Out of the Further. I really like this movie. This is my second favorite Insidious movie. Only behind the first Insidious because, like I said, it's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Let me tell you, I was not expecting to leave the theater with a big grin on my face saying I had a great time. I dreaded this week because I thought it was going to be one of those theater trips that, oh, my last trip to the theater was awful because it's a bad movie. But no, I left having a great time. Now, there were 4 kids that were in the theater at the beginning of the movie. Took them a good 30 seconds to get kicked out. Shut up my theater, dog. Like, I saw this one dude run up the stairs and he tripped and fell. Just completely ate it. And I was thinking, oh no, they're going to be running up and down the stairs being obnoxious the whole movie, aren't they? No, actually, that was one of the theater employees that just tripped and ate it. What a dog, man. He tripped, he ate crap, and then he proceeded to get up and rescue and save the day and kick those 4 kids out that were behind us, cursing and yelling, and during the trailers and then the beginning of the movie, just being all around annoying. Get him out of here! Good job, Marcus Theaters. I love you. But about the movie itself, I really enjoyed it. I really did. The first half, I'm not going to say it's scary. I'm not going to say it was horrifying. Because there are movies this year that released like Hokum or Obsession that are like genuinely scary. Do something that the genre has never done before to be scary. But there is some effective scares in the beginning of this movie. For at least the first hour. Thing that people are talking about, and it's 100% true, is the pillow fort scene. Like, as a claustrophobic man, that scared me. Like, I was squirming in my seat. That would have freaked me out if that happened to me. I mean, anything in the Insidious movies would freak me out if they happened to me, but still, that's very good. Claustrophobic, thrilling sequences. And then there is the gross factor as well, where she's a dentist. Yeah. Is that what dentists, if you're a dentist, is that what y'all actually have to deal with? That's gross. That is disgusting. Within the first 5 minutes, there's a scene of a dentist picking something out of braces, and within the first 5 minutes, I was already grossed out. That's crazy, and I feel bad for you if that's what you actually have to do as a living. Anyways, so I thought there were some really effective scares, scenes that make you squirm. Thought it did that very well. And then the second half of the movie is, how do I say this without saying spoilers? A lot of people are saying it's very crazy, which it is. A lot of people are saying it's the end game of the Insidious franchise, which it is. But I think this ending is something fresh, something new that we needed in the Insidious franchise or in the PG-13 haunted house movie genre. I thought it was really effective. With Armageddon, the apocalypse, the plot of our main demon, I thought it was really cool. And the way it was done is definitely like a Marvel movie where it's this big final battle. I thought it was really cool. And it's something fresh, something new, something unique that we needed in this franchise. Something we've never seen before. I vibed heavily with it. I really liked it. Like, there are endings to movies that people hate that I love. This is one, again, that is going to divide people. Either they hated the ending. My brother, he hated the ending. He left the theater like, that was so stupid. Me, my brother's girlfriend, I think she liked it, but we both really liked the ending. I thought it was done really, really well. So, without spoilers, I think the main demon was really cool. The main demon's motive was really cool. Again, doing something unique that we haven't ever done in this franchise before. With the goal, the agenda of this main demon. A lot of the things that we did with the demon has acolytes in the real world. That was something that was really, really cool in this movie. That, you know, the old people that we see in the trailers, they're working for this demon. Adds some really spooky elements, some unique elements inside this movie. And the design of the demon I thought was really cool. You see him on the poster. He's got those needle fingers. And it's really, really cool. Probably not my favorite looking demon in this franchise. That would have to go to Mr. Redface. But, again, a very cool demon design. And I thought his motive was something that this franchise needed. This is the first movie in the Insidious franchise that I fully believe it completely revitalized this franchise. It's able to inject new lore, new ideas into a franchise that was dying. Where the last film, Insidious, The Red Door, brought back the characters from the first movie just so we can redo the same ending they got in the second movie. Which, by the way, I thought was a really good ending. And so, we get this one. I thought it was just going to be another generic haunted house movie, and we're expanding the lore. We're doing something new. And that's overall what I really, really liked about this movie. Is that it felt like something new inside of the PG-13 haunted house genre, and the genre so desperately needed it. The cast I also thought was really good. Our lead actress is Amelia Eve, and I thought she did really good playing this character. She doesn't really have like the big emotional moments. The movie tries to do an emotional crescendo, and I don't really think it fully hits. Like, it's still solid. The way that it's done is still solid, but I never really felt any emotions. But Amelia Eve is really good in this movie. You still got Lynn Shay in this movie as Elise. And she kind of takes a back seat, I think, for the best. Because if she was full front and center in this movie, it would just feel like Insidious 3 or 4 or 5. 5 sucked. Did I mention that Insidious The Red Door is garbage? It's bad. But she's in this movie, and I thought she was really good. A standout for me was Brandon Perea, where he's just the boyfriend character, and you watch horror movies with boyfriends in it, and you always have to have this idea in the back of your head that, oh, the boyfriend's going to end up not believing the girl, and then it's going to cause a big fight, and then the stuff's going to go on, the boyfriend won't be there, the boyfriend's a bad guy. I always have a soft spot for horror movies where they actually treat the boyfriend like he's not a total pile of garbage. And this is one of those movies that treats him good. And I thought he was good in this movie. Also, had some scenes that made me laugh. I think Brandon Perea was pretty good in this movie. So you got the scares, the uniqueness of this film, the cast, the demon design, and all around, as somebody who would be a very casual fan of this franchise, but probably enjoys this franchise more than a lot of people, I thought this movie was going to suck. And it didn't. I actually had a pretty good time watching this film. Thing is, it's only an hour, 45 minutes. You're in, you're out. It doesn't really overstay its welcome for me. It fleshes out all the characters, fleshes out all the arcs. Thought it was just really well done. And it doesn't, the thing is, it doesn't feel like a cash grab. Like, movies in this franchise, or PG-13 horror movies nowadays, just do the same things over and over, just kind of bend over and just poop out the movies just for a cash grab. This one felt like it had an idea, it had a goal, and it was done really well. Now, story-wise, like I said, where it goes surprised me in the end, and actually had a lot of, like, really compelling, unique sequences. Overall, like, it is another Insidious movie. It still does the, oh, look over there, nothing's there. You turn around, jump scare moment, like pathetic jump scares. It does that quite a bit in the beginning. It's PG-13, so you got no blood, no gore, no nothing. There's a scene in the very beginning of the movie where something crazy happens, and right before you get to see the blood or the gore, it just cuts away, and it made me think, oh, this movie's PG-13. So, like, how scary is it actually? This one would probably scare some of the 13-year-olds. It didn't fully scare me. I just thought it did tension really well in the first half, like I said, with that pillow fort sequence, or the dentist sequences specifically, because they grossed me out. How do you guys do it? But anyways, it still overall is an Insidious movie, right? It doesn't reinvent the genre for haunted house films. It's not The Conjuring, right? It's Insidious. It does some unique things. It does some really good things. It does some awesome things. But overall, like, you could probably tell exactly where some specific plot points were going. Like I said, this one surprised me a whole lot more than the other movies. But you could still tell where some things are going. Like, it's got the typical cliches, generic stuff from this movie. But overall, I had a really good time watching this. I really did. There's really not many negatives that I can say besides, you know, it does have the generic elements. But overall, I thought this was very unique, very fresh for the Insidious franchise. I thought it was really well done. And so, I'm leaning really positive on this one. So, yeah. That's my review of Insidious Out of the Further. Before I give you my final score, if you would subscribe, like button, hit the bell, use that comment section, tell me what you think of the movie, and if you haven't seen it, are you excited to see it? With that said, Insidious Out of the Further has some cool, tense moments. Really like the cast. Really like the demon design. Has a new, unique story that works while still holding on to some generic moments. It's not like the most fresh Insidious movie, but it is very surprising, especially by how much I liked this movie. Like, when you hear my final score, I thought this was going to be like a C or lower. No, Insidious Out of the Further is going to get a B+ for me. Again, I spent most of this review with the positives. This is a specific movie that, like, all of them bleed the same. Honestly, like, you could watch Insidious 2 through 3 and 4 and 5. They all got the same elements. This one has those elements. But as somebody who can acknowledge that it's just another one of these movies, I thought it did a lot more unique stuff. So it gets a B+. Honestly, if you're a fan of this franchise, you can check it out in theaters. If you're not a fan of the Insidious franchise or this genre, I still think it's worth checking out at home. So I'm going to recommend you see it in theaters, but, you know, it's an August horror movie. This one's definitely going to be on VOD in like 3 weeks anyway. So, but if you want, go check it out in theaters. That is my recommendation. With that said, that's my review of Insidious Out of the Further. And stay tuned for the ranking of this franchise. With that said, subscribe.